Error trapping is a programming discipline that you use to build workflows that are really strong and that account for every possibility, even if it should never exist. This is an example, and it's easy to understand because I'm talking about credit cards. However, you would never build this application. The laws around credit card processing are so fierce these days that you're not going to create a credit card processing application inside of SharePoint. However, we might want to go take a look and say, is this an American Express, MasterCard, or Visa for a purpose other than processing? So here are our three possible credit cards. But the business has just made a decision to also take Discover cards. And because our workflow was written when we didn't take Discover cards, we could go a long time allowing people to make free purchases. There they are using their Discover card, and we don't have a way to process it because we're processing American Express, MasterCard, Visa, and if it's none of the above, we just drop out and go on to the next step. An error trap will allow us to capture the fact that something's happened that we didn't normally expect. So in this particular situation, when we build this workflow to begin with, and when you build other workflows that have different conditional possibilities, one possibility after we read the card type is that it's American Express. The second possibility is that it's MasterCard, and the third is that it's a Visa. And we're actually using the conditional if, but inserting this else if branch. So if it's American Express, fine. Else, maybe it's MasterCard. Else, maybe it's Visa. And that's what we would normally indicate. But the error trap is this final else that says none of the above. And then what I can do here is send an email, for example, to the workflow owner or the workflow business owner, or if this is during development, to myself that says, wait a second, we have a problem because all of a sudden we have cards coming through, credit card transactions that are none of the above. What do I do now? And that's just really easy. And then the last else, I'll just send an email. And I'll send an email with a subject like credit card workflow error. Sometimes I'll put in the text of the message, you should never see this email because it means there's an error. We have received a credit card transaction that is not Amex, MasterCard, or Visa. And then I can provide some information with an absolute URL, a title, any information I want. So what I'm doing is I'm building in ahead of time. And again, you don't do this after you've had the error. You want to do this preemptively before. This should be the entire universe of all the credit cards we accept. And if something else got through to here, we have an issue. Now, how would we stop stuff from getting through to here? Well, we'd have a form with a drop-down on it with three possibilities, American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. But you might imagine then that while we're in the process of updating our application, updating our workflow and forms, that we could get into a position where the form's updated to include Discover, and we have not remembered to update the workflow. So error trapping allows us to grab possible errors, things that fall outside of the universe of what's anticipated and allowed in a workflow. You will use this if condition along with else if branching to build most of your error traps, and they'll look just like this.